to your feet, Bam Bam. Come on.
There's no sign of... No, here comes Taz. Here comes Taz.
No.
Taz is getting out of the hole.
No. Bam Bam, look out. No.
He's got the Taz mission. The Kata Hajime. Bam Bam tap. Bam Bam tap.
What? Wait. Hey, he was reaching for the ropes. He was reaching for the ropes.
He tapped in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and he tapped in Dayton, Ohio. Bigelow is not reaching for the ropes. Bam Bam.
You're He didn't tap. His eyes, his hands were reaching for the ropes. What a bogus piece of crap. Fix. No! Bam Bam was reaching for the ropes, Finegan.
This is John Finegan, referee for the Bam Bam Bigelow Taz match at Heatwave 98. From my vantage point on that runway, Bam Bam Bigelow was tapping out. He was not reaching for those ropes.
The champ is here!
And now for more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon and Richie Blyweiss.
Two dudes with attitude.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB. Oh, yeah, Shane Douglas was a hoot on commentary. Certainly a memorable moment.
He was reaching for the ropes.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Douglas,
he
was awesome. A tripping.
Oh, that was awesome.
Now, we'll have to see what, let's bring him out.
Yeah.
Obviously, Finegan, who was being mentioned in there. Yeah, no, I don't have the drum roll.
Yeah, do a drum roll?
No, we're not going to get into that.
Right.
But currently on the line, we have one of the ECW originals, one of the greats. Although he, didn't have a whole lot of in-ring action as far as matches, but he
had a lot of in-ring action, I would say, though.
Well, yeah, well, as far as a competitor.
Yeah. Oh,
but
okay.
no. ECW referee, the one, the only, John Finnegan on the line. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank
no
you, sir.
problem.
Thank you.
Did that bring back some memories there, that clip leading out of the break?
I didn't remember Shane doing the commentating, and then I was just sitting here laughing to myself, listening to him flip out like that.
Oh, yeah. No.
So that's what we do. Fearon builds up these great clips and doesn't tell me what we're actually about to listen to. So I just listen. I usually crack up, or I have that huge moment of nostalgia just coming right over me.
Or a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Actually, when it first started, I thought it was going to be the clip from Asbury Park when they went through the ring, and then I realized what it actually was.
Yeah, no, that's right. This was their I guess, rematch after that Living Dangerously pay-per-view earlier in '98. Right. Yeah, right. That was... man, what was going through your mind? I mean, you officiated both of those, right? The Living Dangerously and... or both Taz Bam Bam matches?
Yeah, the one in Asbury and the one where they went through the runway.
Through the runway there, yeah, that's what that clip was from.
What's going through your mind when you see these two guys literally go through the ring or through the ring? I mean, what's that process like? Because your facial expression is just one of those things that I was a kid when that happened. I will never be able to get that image of you just in total shock out of my mind.
Well, it was actually a true reaction because I had no idea what was going to happen. I didn't want to know. I wanted to be a reaction like that. And, I had no idea what was coming until it happened.
Oh, my God. That was just unbelievable.
Wow, yeah. And like I said, for the viewing audience at home, I mean, Shane, at least from Heatwave 98, Shane's reaction was priceless.
Yeah, well, Shane is just a great, always will be a great talker as well as a great competitor, but you could always go on and on with this talking.
Was there any kind of communication between Taz or Bam Bam and you while in the ring when that first happened? Was anything said to you like one of those anything said that we can actually put on AM radio that was kind of one of those shock and awe moments?
Yeah, it was actually, I think they were having a little trouble with where the ring was supposed to collapse there. If you remember the match from Asbury Park, before that happened, we were all over the outside of the ring for, it felt forever. I think it was at least 10 minutes waiting to get the cue to go back into the ring, and we thought it was never coming, and finally did, and everything happened.
That's right. Paul Heyman had to call an audible, and he ended up scrapping one of the matches and combining some other things. Wow. That's right. Yeah, it was I forget. I think Cronus was scheduled to wrestle, and he ended up getting cut from the pay-per-view. It was like a live, on-the-fly call.
Right.
Yep.
Because they were having trouble refixing the ring.
You're right. I think it was Cronus who ended up getting scratched from it. That ended up not getting the match on the show.
I mean, did you have that feeling going into this match of saying this is going to be that highlight that's talked about a decade later?
I tell you, not really until after it really happened. Because if you watch the crowd afterwards, you never saw anything like that in wrestling. Believe it or not, after you see so many things done over and over, that actually was kind of an original thing. And you saw, of course, WWE try to do it afterwards. But I guess it is now. As you look back, it's a pretty historical moment.
Wow.
Yeah, that certainly takes. Okay. I was trying to look it up and remember what happened. That's right. It was supposed to be Al Snow and John Cronus. That got canceled, and then they aired for the pay-per-view audience the supposedly too extreme for pay-per-view dueling Canes match between Sabu and the Sandman. That's what it was.
Okay. That's right. Oh, yeah, I remember that now. That's right. Yep.
So that's what Wikipedia is good for, John. That's why we love Wikipedia.
There you go.
But
because
I can't remember everything, so I gotta, hey, I'm surprised I remember the Cronus was in that match that got scratched.
It's funny you say that, because just looking back, if you see stuff on WWE 24/7 or just old DVDs, I don't remember half the stuff that we did in ECW. It's just there was just so much that went on over the years that it's just tough to remember it all.
Well, that makes it difficult to ask what your favorite event or favorite match was, then, if you can't remember half of it.
Well, I tell you, there was the talent that went through that company, names after name after name, and matches after matches. There was just so many. Some of my favorites were the Van Dam, Jerry Lynn matches.
Sure.
Malenko Guerrero.
From the earlier days, it was like 94, 95.
I still say it every time I'm asked. I always say, not that it was the greatest matches, but the Tommy Dreamer Raven whole year-long saga, I thought was one of the most well-done things ever in the business.
Oh yeah, it's one of the best feuds in wrestling. Man, that went close to 2 years. That's how long. It probably felt like a year, but it was actually 2 to the audience. I mean, it was something that was revisited, and then after, I think Raven left for WCW for a little bit, and then he came back, and they were partners for a little while. I think they were even tag team champions briefly.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that were some of my favorite matches to do.
John, can I ask you? I mean, without obviously throwing I don't want you to throw anybody under the bus or get into too much detail, but were there ever any days in ECW that there were difficult, or matches that you knew going in were going to be extremely violent to kind of work and be there firsthand for?
Well, it was such a family atmosphere. You really kind of knew you were everything was going to be okay, no matter how crazy it got. Everybody kind of took care of everybody and watched out for everybody. But if there was one person I would take a step back once I got in the ring, would be Terry Funk. One of the greatest, nicest, most helpful people in the business outside the ring. But as soon as you got in the ring with him, you better stay the hell out of the way, because it's something that guy's head snaps, and you don't want to be near him.
No, that's JR wasn't too far off when he said middle-aged and crazy. That's about what.
Yeah, that's a shoot. That's absolutely true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that your answer of all the crazy guys would have been a guy that at that time was probably in his mid-50s, I would say.
I think so, early 50s.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, probably.
Wow, that's amazing.
I mean, you have guys. I mean, Sabu, who's dealt with everything from tables and barbed wire. I mean, did you have to deal with any of the barbed wire matches at all, or was that like early on? I'm trying to remember.
I was involved in a couple of them. You just in a situation like that, you make sure you take care of, number one, that's yourself, and just try to stay out of the way and get yourself all wrapped up as best as you can, so you don't want to get that stuff. Was nasty, and for guys to get in the ring and wrestle under those conditions, I have to hand it to them. It's nothing I would even think about doing, but they were probably the only thing I was thinking of in something like that was myself.
Wow.
Former ECW referee John Finegan, an absolute treat to talk to, and a nice cameo from former co-host Richie Blyweiss. Of course, he was in the fold at the time back in February of 2011 when we had John Finegan on, part of the clip show here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB. Fearon Derry, not here with you as I'm at a wedding and reception currently for a longtime high school friend. Congratulations, John Hewins. So while I'm out celebrating and having a little bit of fun, I figure you, the listeners, can have a little bit of fun and get a little bit of me and a lot more of some of the wrestlers who you've wanted to hear from. And in case you missed some earlier on, in case you're new to the program, you might have missed a lot of these interviews. Plus, I'm mixing them up with some never-before-heard interviews that I had the chance to do a few months ago and haven't quite found the right time to sneak in here, but now seems like as good a time as any. So you heard earlier from Viscera, Big Daddy V. We're going to go back at a couple of Hall of Famers coming up, including this one from early on in my tenure, going back to Sinomania 4, April 2009, about a month into me taking over the program here on 1490 WBCB. I was able to talk to the now Hall of Famer, although then he was just known as the master of a certain four-letter catchphrase, which always seemed to entertain when he'd just come out, kind of stare blankly at whatever insanity was going on and simply say, "Damn." That's right, Ron Simmons. Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly. Fearon Derry here with you from Sinomania, live here, although we're recording it. And I'm fortunate enough to have one of the all-time greats, Ron Simmons, here with us. Ron, welcome to Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm having a great time over here. If you're not here, obviously you're missing the time of your life, you know? Hey, I'm having a great time looking at a lot of old friends that I've been in the ring with, you know, and been on the road with a lot, sharing a lot of memories, and we're having a great time, man.
Absolutely. So had a lengthy run in, WCW as well as the Federation days, and then you were gone for a little while and then came back with your infamous catchphrase, which for radio's sake we'll leave alone here. But what's next for Ron Simmons?
I don't know. I've got another four-letter word that I'm going to use next. So I'll just keep going through the four-letter words, and you'll just keep seeing me resurfacing, right? That's what, no, but obviously, you know, right now, in the twilight of my life now, so I'm just enjoying life a little bit more now and living off some of the spoils now, and then enjoying, you know, coming back and seeing like a lot of the fans, right, and just going back and reliving some of the old days, man, and it's been real good.
Any thoughts of getting back into the ring? I know a couple of years ago you were here in the Philadelphia area and we're in the Survivor Series. Any thoughts of getting back in the ring, or is this going to totally be it for you?
No, purely on a recreational basis. No, nothing like mainstream like I was doing. No, that's out of the question, bro. You know, I had my time with it, and it was good, you know. So now it's just recreational basis, you know, come back, and just because I do miss it, so I'll dabble with it here and there, but those days are behind me.
More than understandable. Anyway, I see you got some fans here looking for some autographs, so I'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much again, Ron Simmons, for your time.
Thank you, man. Thanks for stopping by.
Excellent. 2012 WWE Hall of Famer Ron Simmons. Going to take our second time out, come back. We've got Today in Wrestling History, as well as an interview with Hall of Famer Tony Atlas. And we'll look back at a little bit of the lighter side as one of my greener earlier interviews with none other than Jim Cornette. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.